3 true scary Roblox horror stories. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to stories that people have submitted, stories that kept them up at night, stories they say are completely real. Tonight we're diving into something a little different. These are 3 accounts sent in by actual players, people who were just sitting at home playing Roblox, thinking it was just a game. They were wrong. As always, names have been changed to protect the people involved. Sit back, turn the lights down, and please read carefully, because some of these are still going on. Story 1. He knew my address. So this first story comes from a 19-year-old named Devin. He sent this in a few months back. Devin says he's been playing Roblox on and off since he was around 12. Nothing unusual there, right? Millions of people play it. But Devin says that what happened to him during one particular session back when he was 16 has never fully left his mind. And honestly, after reading what he wrote to us, I completely understand why. Devin describes himself as someone who mostly played solo. He wasn't really into hanging out in social servers or chatting with randos. He liked the building games, the obstacle courses, stuff where you could just zone out and not think too hard. It was a Tuesday night. He remembers it being a Tuesday because he had a history test the next day that he was very clearly not studying for. He was in a game called something like Midnight Mansion, one of those explore the haunted house type games, pretty popular at the time. He'd played it before, nothing weird ever happened. About 20 minutes into the session, he noticed another player join the server. The username was just a long string of random letters and numbers. No display name, no avatar customization. The character was just the default gray mannequin that Roblox gives you when you haven't set anything up. Devin didn't think much of it. New accounts, guest-style players, they show up sometimes. But then the player walked directly toward Devin's character. Not wandering, not exploring the map like everyone else was doing, straight toward him. Devin joked to himself, thinking maybe it was a little kid who didn't know how to play yet. He moved his character to a different room. The gray player followed. Devin moved again, upstairs this time. Again, the gray player followed. At this point, Devin was a little creeped out, but still kind of brushing it off. Maybe it was just some kid who was lonely or something. Then, the player sent him a message in the chat. It said, "I know you." Devin typed back, "Lol, okay," because what else do you say to that? He figured it was just someone messing around. The gray player sent another message almost immediately, "I know where you live." Devin says his stomach dropped a little, but he still typed back something dismissive, something like "yeah, right," or "cool story." He figured it was your standard internet tough guy garbage. Kids say weird stuff online all the time to get a reaction. He was used to it. But then the next message stopped him cold. Devin. Just his name. His actual first name, not his Roblox username, his real first name, Devin. He stared at the screen for a second. He said his brain kind of went completely blank because his Roblox username had absolutely nothing to do with his real name. There was no way, no logical, obvious way that this person should have known his name was Devin. He hadn't told anyone in the game. He hadn't posted his real name in his profile. Nothing. He typed, "How do you know my name?" No response for almost a full minute. Devin sat there watching the little gray character just stand still in the middle of the hallway of the virtual mansion. Then the message came through. "You left your bedroom window open again." Devin said he physically stood up from his chair. Because here's the thing, he had left his window open that night. It was warm. He had it cracked. He looked over his shoulder at the window across the room. The curtain was moving slightly from the breeze. He slammed the window shut. He looked back at his screen. The gray player had already sent another message. Too late. Devin says he closed the game immediately, just closed his laptop completely, sat in the dark for a second, and then turned every light in his room on. He went and checked the front door, checked the back door. Everything was locked. His mom was asleep down the hall. He stood in the kitchen for probably 20 minutes, just trying to convince himself it was a coincidence. Someone just guessed a common name. The window thing, that was just a lucky guess, or maybe he'd mentioned it online without thinking about it. He went back to his room eventually, and he didn't sleep well that night. The next day, he logged back into Roblox, not to play, just to check. He looked at the server history, tried to find the username. It was gone. The account had been deleted or deactivated or something. He couldn't find a trace of it. He checked his chat logs, and the messages were still there in his history. Devin, you left your bedroom window open again. Too late. All of it was still right there in his chat history. He took screenshots. He still has them. Devin says he never found out who it was. He told his mom a toned-down version of the story, and she brushed it off as internet trolling. But here's the part that Devin says still bothers him to this day. A few weeks later, he mentioned the story to his friend who lived 2 streets over. His friend went quiet for a second, and then told him something that made Devin feel genuinely sick. His friend said that around that same time period, that same week, he had also been playing Roblox late at night, and a gray default account had joined his session too, and it had sent him a message. Just one message. It said, "Tell Devin I said hi."
Story 2. The Account That Came Back. This one was sent in by a girl named Kayla. She's 17 now. The events she describes happened about 1.5 years ago, and she says she still thinks about them almost every day. Kayla had a best friend. I'll call him Nate. They'd been close since middle school, same friend group, same neighborhood. Nate was the kind of person who was really into Roblox, way more than Kayla was. He had spent actual money on the game, had a ton of items, a really well-customized avatar, the whole thing. He'd been building his account for years. Kayla played sometimes, mostly because Nate kept dragging her into it, and she'd follow him around whatever game he was currently obsessed with. About 1.5 years ago, Nate passed away. It was sudden, a medical thing, nothing that anyone saw coming. He was 15 years old. Kayla was devastated. Their whole friend group was. For months, Nate's Roblox profile just sat there, untouched. His avatar was still there. All his items, his games, his badges, everything was still up. His account was still active, because no one in his family had thought to go in and close it, or maybe they just couldn't bring themselves to. Kayla says she would look at his profile sometimes, just to look at it. It sounds strange, but it was kind of comforting in a weird way, like a small piece of him was still there. Then, about 4 months after Nate died, something happened. Kayla opened Roblox one afternoon to play a game by herself, and at the top of her notifications, she had a friend activity alert. It said that Nate's account, his actual account, his exact username, had just joined a game. Kayla stared at the notification for a long time. She knew that people's accounts sometimes stayed active even after they died. She knew there were cases where a family member might log in or a friend who knew the password. She told herself that was probably all this was. Nate's younger brother maybe, or someone from school who'd had the login info. But she clicked on it anyway. Nate's account was in a game called Haunted Valley. It was a horror exploration type game, not something Nate had played much of. Kayla had never been in it. She clicked join. When she loaded into the server, Nate's avatar was standing in the middle of an open field in the game. That specific avatar, the one Nate had spent ages building, with the specific color combination and accessories he'd carefully chosen, it was just standing there, completely still, not moving at all. She walked her character up to it. She typed in the chat, "Hello?" For a few seconds, nothing. Then Nate's character slowly turned to face her. Kayla said her hands started shaking. She typed, "Who is this?" The character started walking, not toward Kayla, away from her, deeper into the game map, moving slowly like it was waiting for her to follow. Kayla followed. She didn't know why. She says in retrospect it was probably the dumbest thing she could have done, but she wasn't thinking rationally at that point. She was following because some part of her was hoping, illogically, stupidly hoping, that it actually was Nate somehow. She knew that didn't make sense, but grief doesn't make sense, and so she followed his avatar across the virtual haunted field into a dark wooded area at the edge of the map. The avatar stopped at a specific spot. There was nothing there, as far as she could tell, just a patch of shadowy trees in the game environment. Then it turned to face her character again, and it typed in the chat. Not something vague, not something generic. It typed, "The blue notebook is under the desk." Kayla said she actually stopped breathing for a second. Because Nate had a blue notebook. He'd had it for years, used it for sketching out game ideas and little doodles. She had seen it dozens of times at his house. When he died, his family had looked everywhere for it and couldn't find it. His mom had mentioned it once, how she really wished she could find it because Nate had always carried it around. Nobody knew where it ended up. Kayla didn't respond in the chat. She just closed the game, closed Roblox, and sat there completely shaking. The next day, she went to Nate's house. She hadn't been there in a while. It felt too hard. She knocked. His mom answered, and Kayla asked if she could look for something. She went to Nate's room. She looked under his desk. There was the blue notebook, shoved back against the wall, tucked behind a cable strip and a box, completely hidden unless you got down and looked. She pulled it out. She brought it to Nate's mom in the hallway, and the woman started crying immediately. Kayla says she never figured out who was controlling Nate's account that day. She asked his family, none of them logged in. She asked every single one of their mutual friends, no one admitted to it, and Kayla says she believes them because their reactions to the story were genuinely terrified, not guilty. No one else knew about the notebook. Nate's Roblox account has been inactive ever since that day. It hasn't shown as online a single time. Whatever or whoever logged in that afternoon apparently only needed to do it once. Kayla says she doesn't have an explanation. She says she's not someone who normally believes in anything supernatural, but she also says that she has absolutely no other way to explain what happened. She keeps the notebook on her bookshelf now. She's never opened it. She says it doesn't feel like hers to open.
Story 3. Private Server. This last story is the one that bothered me the most when it first came in. It was sent by a guy named Cole. He's 22 now. This happened when he was 14. Cole grew up in a pretty quiet house. His parents worked long hours. His older sister was away at college, so most weekday evenings it was just him home alone for a few hours until his parents got back. He was a big gamer, had been since he was a kid. Roblox was his main thing at 14, though he played other stuff too. On a Friday evening in October, Cole remembers the month specifically because it was close to Halloween, he loaded up Roblox after school with nothing particular in mind. He was browsing through games, not really looking for anything specific. He ended up on a horror game called something like The Old Hospital. Seemed popular at the time. He'd never played it before. He joined a public server and played for a little while. It was a decent game, creepy atmosphere, good level design, nothing out of the ordinary. After maybe 30 minutes, a message popped up. Not a regular chat message, a direct server invitation. A private server invitation. The message just said, "Join us, happy face." Cole didn't recognize the username that sent it. He says the username was something like watchingyou_14, which, in retrospect, should have been a massive red flag, but at 14 he thought it was just trying to sound scary as part of the Halloween vibe. He accepted the invitation. The private server loaded. At first, it looked exactly the same as the public server. Same hospital map, same dim lighting, same creaking sound effects. But there were only 4 other players in the server. No one was moving. All 4 of them were just standing in the lobby of the virtual hospital, facing the door where Cole's character spawned in. Cole typed, "Hello?" One of them, username watchingyou14, walked forward. It typed, "We've been waiting for you, Cole." Cole says the same thing Devin described, that complete blank brain moment where nothing computes. His name, his real name. Again, nothing in his username, nothing in his profile gave that away. He typed, "How do you know my name?" The response, "We know a lot about you. We know you're home alone." Cole says he felt physically cold because he was home alone. His parents weren't due back for another 2 hours. He typed, "Who are you?" "Friends." Then one of the other 4 characters, who had all been completely still up to this point, started walking toward Cole's character slowly. The first player typed, "Don't leave. We just want to talk." Cole left immediately. He quit the game, closed Roblox, and went downstairs. He turned on all the lights in the living room and sat on the couch facing the front door. He told himself it was nothing, just some kid who'd somehow dug up his name, maybe through his Roblox profile being linked somewhere, maybe through a mutual friend playing a prank. People did weird stuff online. It was probably just someone trying to scare him because it was almost Halloween. He was almost convinced. Then his phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number. He opened it. It said, "You left the game." Cole says he doesn't know how to fully describe what happened inside him when he read that. The feeling wasn't quite fear. It was more like the world tilting sideways slightly, like a rule he'd always believed, that the screen and real life were separate, that online was online and here was here, had just gotten quietly broken. He stared at the text for a long time. Then he called his mom. She came home early. Cole told her someone had been messing with him online and it had given him a weird feeling. He didn't show her the full extent of it. His mom thought it was just run-of-the-mill internet weirdness and told him not to respond to anyone he didn't know. Cole never responded to the text. The number, when his dad tried to look it up later, came back as unregistered, one of those prepaid, untrackable things. He never went back to that game. He actually took a break from Roblox entirely for almost a year after that. When he eventually did come back, he only ever played with friends from school whose usernames he recognized. But here's the part he included at the end of his message to us, the part he says he almost didn't write because he wasn't sure it was related. About a week after the incident, Cole was cleaning out his school backpack and found a folded piece of paper he didn't recognize. He unfolded it. It was blank except for 4 words written in the center in small, neat handwriting. "We found you anyway." Cole says he has no idea how the paper got into his backpack. He says no one at school knew what had happened online. He'd told no one. He threw the paper away and never found another one, and nothing overtly threatening ever happened again. But the question of who put it there, who wrote it,
what exactly they wanted, how they connected his Roblox session to his real-life backpack, that question has never been answered. And Cole says that's the worst part. Not the fear of what they were going to do, but the permanent uncertainty of who they were. Because sometimes the scariest thing isn't the monster you can see. It's the one you never got a good look at. Those were the 3 stories for tonight. I want to say, as always, if anything like this has happened to you, if you've experienced something that felt genuinely threatening online or in a game, please take it seriously. Tell someone you trust. Keep your personal information off your profiles. And if something crosses the line from spooky to genuinely concerning, contact the right people. If you have a story you want to submit, the link is in the description. Stay safe, and maybe don't play alone tonight.